On July the 20th, 1969, the world held its breath as Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first humans to walk on the moon. But even today, some people believe it never happened. Was the moon landing real? Or was it an elaborate hoax? Let's uncover the truth. To understand why the moon landing was so important, we need to go back to the 1950s and 60s. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a battle for technological and military supremacy, known as the Cold War. The Soviets had already launched the first satellite Sputnik in 1957 and sent the first human, Yuri Gagarin, into space in 1961. The U.S. had to prove its superiority, and landing on the moon was the ultimate prize. NASA's Apollo program was created to achieve this goal. After years of failed tests and tragic accidents, Apollo 11 was ready. On July 16, 1969, a Saturn V rocket carrying astronauts Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins blasted off from Kennedy Space Center. After traveling over 238,000 miles in 4 days, the spacecraft entered lunar orbit. Armstrong and Aldrin climbed into the lunar module Eagle, while Collins remained in the command module. On July 20, 1969, the world watched as Armstrong descended the ladder, setting foot on the moon with the famous words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Buzz Aldrin soon followed, and together they planted the American flag, collected rock samples, and conducted experiments. But soon after, skeptics began questioning the authenticity of these events. Some people claim the moon landing was filmed in a Hollywood studio. Here are the main reasons they give. The waving flag. Critics say the flag appears to wave, even though there's no air on the moon. No stars in the sky. Photos from the moon don't show any stars, leading skeptics to believe the scene was staged. Shadows and lighting. Some images show shadows in different directions, which conspiracy theorists claim indicates artificial lighting. The Van Allen radiation belt. Some argue that astronauts couldn't have survived the radiation between Earth and the moon. Could NASA have faked the moon landing to beat the Soviets? Let's debunk these myths. Let's take a closer look at these claims and the real scientific explanations behind them. The waving flag. The flag wasn't waving due to wind, it had a horizontal rod to hold it up, and movements from the astronauts caused ripples that stayed in place due to the moon's low gravity. No stars in the sky. The exposure settings on the camera were adjusted for the bright lunar surface, making the stars too faint to capture. Shadows and lighting. Shadows appear strange because of the uneven lunar surface and the sun being the only light source, not artificial lighting. The Van Allen radiation belt. The Apollo astronauts passed through the radiation belts quickly, minimizing exposure. NASA also designed the spacecraft's shielding to protect them. But here's the strongest proof: the moon rocks. Scientists worldwide have examined Apollo moon rocks, and they contain unique properties not found on Earth. Independent tracking stations around the world confirmed the spacecraft's trajectory. The moon landing wasn't just about beating the Soviets. It paved the way for new technologies, inspired future space missions, and proved what humanity is capable of. Today, NASA and private companies like SpaceX are working on returning humans to the moon and even reaching Mars. The Apollo 11 mission wasn't a hoax. It was one of humanity's greatest achievements. So, do you believe the moon landing was real? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing space stories.